Just a quick disclaimer, I got my information off of multiple sites, but most of it was from Wikipedia. I fact-checked just to be sure. I do not hate British, French, or Native Americans. I'm not racist. This is a comedic telling of a story. Hey kids, today I'll load your mind with knowledge. Today is a story about war. This war in particular was about trade with natives and fought for territory. And I'm surprised to say the Dutch were not involved in this one. This war goes by many names: the French and Indian War, the 7 Years' War, or the Fourth Colonial War. It's the war no American gets to learn in their college prep high school history book, but it's still very important. Let's get started, shall we? 'Twas a time before the 13 colonies performed an Uno reverse card on the Brits, and 'twas a great time to be a British colonist, because little old Georgie Washing Machine was qualified to be a general. This war was going to be like no other, with rocks, sticks, bows and arrows. Sounds similar to Algeria under Lil Fascismo, but I mean French. A French-Canadian man named Pierre-Joseph Celery was kinda mad that people he and his country kinda sorta needed for trade were trading with those British scumbags. How vile, oh how vile it was, for the French literally did nothing and didn't care. Now, the Native Americans sided with either France or Britain, of which most sided with France. Actually, quick cutaway, you remember Lois and Clark, right? If you don't, I'm ashamed of you. Anyway, the little quote-unquote Indian girl they found was a part of the Shawnee tribe, which sided with French. Anyways, cut back to the story. The first quote-unquote war was named the Anglo-Cherokee War, and it was basically discussions about being neutral to the French and British, so the quote-unquote adults can handle this. And 13 different tribes were like, okay, just keep trading us scrumptious fur for us, please. And the Brits were like, ew, gross, fine. But no more of the weird crap, okay? So France was becoming increasingly more afraid of Britain. And the Ohio Company of Virginia was interested in some land. And the land was obviously occupied by the French. So, little old Georgie Washing Machine, he decides to be like, oh hey, I'm sick and tired of our strip of bacon compared to the whole hog. I want some fucking pork chops. So he goes up to some of the forts in the Ohio territory, and he does a few talks with France. George soon finds out that his hog is being defended by a vegan. Before our protagonist Chuggington returned to the Virgin State, some guy named Gimfiddle or something at the Ohio Company sent a group of 40 people and stockaded a few forts, and the French are obviously on edge and very carefully got them to leave a few days after they arrived. Oh, did I say a few days? My bad, half a month later, they finally left. While little Georgie was leaving, Mr. Dumbfiddle's little militia was retreating, and let's just say they got some stuff messed up real bad. This is an example of how important the internet is, and that we should be grateful for it. Then, a Native American actually started the war. In the beginning, the French had some really good spies or something, but they got all British plans. But in sheer numbers, firepower, and geography, the British took over a bunch of forts and stuff, passed a paper saying they can pillage and destroy Canadian lands with ships, and the French did the same. The important thing is Fort Ticonderoga was made, because that'll be a key thing in the American Revolutionary War. Literally the only thing the French did in this war was yeet on a bunch of gunpowder. Then the Brits did an all-out attack on Canada to show the French back. They took it over, by the way. Soon both sides called for peace after the French pussying out in the 7 Years' War. See, no Dutch, I told you.